with the little bit of schedule, we eliminated the classroom visits, but we have some of our wonderful, wonderful faculty here who are directly from the classroom as they just ran over from the other building. So I'll have them introduce themselves and what areas they are representing in terms of their content area. And if you could also just mention maybe briefly that whether or not you've been involved in PACE. As I look around, I think everybody here has just about either administered or worked on the cross-district development teams or gone to some of the summer workshops. So.
Could I ask that people also just mention whether they taught somewhere else before they taught here? Or...
Oh, yeah. Okay, Matt?
My name is Matt McDonald. I teach English and Social Studies at 11th grade right now. The past 3 years I taught 9th grade English and Social Studies and did the 9th grade PACE task for English last year.
Hi, Sean Whalen, 10th grade English. I've been at Souhegan for my entire education career. I was an intern here, then I got hired, and I've been here for 10 years.
We created Sean in
And I helped administer PACE last year on my team.
My name is Amy Gibbons. I taught at their high school in Winchester, New Hampshire, which was the first member of the Coalition of Such Schools for my first 5 years of teaching. And then I've been here for 20 years. I'm the English department coordinator. I taught 10th grade English for 16 years, and now I teach 11th grade world literature and 12th grade law and justice seminar.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Paniagua. I teach 10th grade English. I have been involved with the PACE program. I've been working at Souhegan for 5 years, and this is the only school that I've worked at.
I'm Betsy Wallish. I teach 9th grade science. It's Earth System Science. And I'm homegrown, like many people from Souhegan. Very proud of that fact. I've been involved with PACE for the past couple of years, and proud to say that we are implementing our third PACE assessment probably in about a week. So it'll be our third one for this year, and they're going great.
I'm Sue Downer. I teach chemistry. I too am homegrown. Came here from being a defense contractor. I teach chemistry, and I've been involved in PACE for a long time, working currently with developing a PACE task for chemistry with Concord High School.
I'm Ann Swift. Prior to Souhegan, I did teach down in Braintree, Massachusetts for 4 years. Took a year to teach up in ski country as well in North Conway for a year, but I've been here for 10 years. I am the math department coordinator, also teach this year calculus, intro to calc, and AP calc, but I've taught everything from pre-calculus straight on through. Pre-algebra straight on through, sorry. And have been involved with PACE since before it was PACE, when it was QPA, quality performance assessments, and so forth. So.
I'm Charles Swift. I am married to her. I was also in Braintree, Massachusetts for 5 years, and then I went to Concord. She went up to ski country, I went to Concord. And I stayed at Concord for Concord High School in New Hampshire for 10 years, and this is my first year here at Souhegan. Very happy to be here. And Concord is a school that's working with PACE, so we were doing some of that when I was at Concord High School. I teach physics and engineering.
Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Tremblay. I'm a social studies teacher at Souhegan for 17 years. So I have not had the opportunity to be involved in directly administering PACE tasks as a social studies teacher, but can say that I've been largely involved in competency-based education leading initiatives here, including a competency-based credit recovery course for the social studies, and lots of QPA work prior to that.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Sturgis. Before Souhegan, I was in publishing, and before that, I was in Souhegan. And before that, I was teaching in New York City. I worked taught at South Bronx High School in Canarsie, in South Bronx, and then South Shore in Canarsie, Brooklyn, and then worked on with Expeditionary Learning on the first Expeditionary Learning School in New York, the School for the Physical City. Was on that design team, and then I came here.
I'm Ryan Lemieux, math teacher. Mainly I've been involved with PACE as the geometry lead teacher. So going to all the meetings, working on the planning, the designing, the rubrics. implementing them here, communicating out with colleagues, what we're doing when we go to those meetings, sitting and hashing out tasks and rubrics. This is my 4th year here, and before that I worked at Merrimack Valley High School in Pennacook, Concord area.
So.
That's all of us, Kathy.
Time to go, right? So would you like to hear some of their experiences with PACE, or would you like to start with questions? It's really,
Yeah, experience. I do have one question though, because it's kind of been with me since Patrick Rooney came to New Hampshire and was up in Concord, and I think some of you actually were up there, and I think some of you asked questions about the issue of equity. And one of the concerns with any state or accountability system is whether you're able to differentiate the needs of all students, including those students who are challenged in a variety of different ways, and whether you can then take the information that you gain from those assessments to determine a way forward so that a student can in fact graduate ready to go on. How do you think about PACE with respect to this issue of equity and diversity?
Could I add one more on
Sure.
to that? I think that's a great question. I would love to hear answers. I think from where we sit, a key part of the equity challenge is how do you make sure you're getting comparable information about all types of students. So I'm from New York, so I'll say, so you're getting comparable information about how students in the South Bronx are doing and students in Westchester are doing. And I think that's one of the things we'd love to hear more about, in addition to all different types of students being able to access the assessment. How do you know we're learning the same things about their abilities? So,
Sure, if they can answer that latter part, that'd be great.
or how should we think about that?
Right.
I can certainly start. Certainly being a school of inclusion, we feel very comfortable, I think, with differentiated instruction. It's what we do every day with all of our assessments and any of the performance tasks. I think a performance task certainly is easier to differentiate. Certainly I know in science and how we're able to touch all learners, especially when we're able to design it and being part of that design team, keeping that in mind as you look at all learners from all levels, from high honors to students that may struggle a little bit. And it was nice when we met with other schools from other districts and shared a lot of that information. How do you touch all access and make sure that all students have access? And I think we do a good job of that and have been able to share what we do with other schools. We agree, right, guys?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think so.
I think what's interesting for me is the performance assessment task and PACE. So we just came from a validation of the performance assessment, the PACE task for 10th grade. And so when I think of performance assessment task, I think of something outside the box, something authentic, something that kids from different areas can all access. And I feel like when we're looking at the PACE task, it's an explanatory essay. So how do we make that more performance assessment based? So we were thinking about so the question can certainly be engaging, but what else can we do with kids so that we are differentiating for them with this? And I think the other task was an analytical essay, right? So they're both more essay based. When I'm thinking more about a performance assessment task, is something a little bit more than that.
I also think that with students of different ability levels and in different places in the state, I'm working currently with Concord to design, and we're gonna prototype or test our chemistry PACE task, and just talking to them about the issues that they have with English as second language students, which we don't have that much of an issue with that. And the ability, like what do they have for equipment? We might be better suited to do a titration than they are in Concord. Just having those conversations helps level the playing field to some extent. And then, what they think that their students can achieve, and having a conversation about what they think their students can achieve, really changed the dynamic of what we had run. We had actually run this task last year. we brought data. They looked at our data, said, oh, okay, our kids can do all of these pieces. And now we're running it as a trial this year with the 2 schools. And then we'll be able to see how well that goes before we even get to having it be an official PACE task. It'll have gone through 3 iterations of conversation. And I think that helps ensure both equity and also comparability.
I think to kind of jump off of that, the going through the validation and the norming and all that communication, whether it happens within our school and within all of the schools that are using similar tasks and everything, it really makes sure everybody has the same expectations. We all know where we're looking for from students. We can then ensure that our students all have access points to that information, but also to know what do we need to report out so that we can tell we're getting similar information from different districts, and that the way we're reporting out is not just a single data point. It's not just a number. There's a lot more to it, and we talk about what those pieces are that we want included in the rubric, or how we want the data to come out. We don't force the data out, but what the data looks like, so that it can be comparable across districts. But that communication piece, I think, is huge.
And I think we're looking at skill sets too, as opposed to as much content knowledge. I mean, there's a balance of content knowledge and skill sets, which might be very different from a traditional science test.
I think that kind of speaks a little bit to what Betsy was saying too. Like, a couple folks have mentioned the validation protocol, and what I think is nice is that we kind of have this shared